E aí, pessoal, tudo bem? Murilo aqui no vídeo de hoje. Na verdade, muito mais do que um vídeo, um grande conteúdo que a gente vai criar junto com o Bruno e o Illimar. Illimar, fundador da Tickmill. Bruno, diretor de uma das maiores corretoras do mundo, regulamentada em Londres, como vocês sabem, entre outros países, Europa. A gente está aqui em Portugal hoje, eles são os meus convidados, é um prazer tê-los aqui. A gente vai falar um pouco sobre toda a experiência do Illimar e do Bruno dentro do mercado financeiro. O Illimar vai contar um pouco para a gente de como ele criou a Tickmill, de como ele começou no mercado, tudo que ele fez até aqui. E como as coisas funcionam mesmo de dentro. Como vocês sabem, esse é um tipo de conteúdo muito legal, porque a gente consegue entender um pouco melhor o mercado que a gente opera e principalmente saber um pouco mais do que a gente está fazendo do ponto de vista de quem está na corretora. Então, Illimar, eu vou fazer em inglês, então depois vocês vão ver todas as traduções aí. Illimar, really nice to meet you guys here aqui em Portugal.
Thank you,
Bruno.
Murilo.
Thank you so much.
Bom dia.
Bom dia, Illimar. Illimar speaks a little bit Portuguese. Bruno,
Eu falo mais ou menos.
yeah. But we're gonna try to do everything in English. So, Illimar, first of all, really thanks for your time to be here with us to introduce a little bit about the Tickmill, explain us how the things works, how is your history inside the market, what do you do exactly, and I think that first of all, really thanks for being here. Okay.
Thank you for having me.
I know that you are a windsurfer and maybe a big wave surfer in the future. I will try to bring you to Nazareth. But anyway, Illimar, I want to know a little bit about your history. If you can introduce yourself and just explain us how you get here, like with Tickmill and everything.
Okay, so thanks for having me once again here. And so I originally come from Estonia. So those of the viewers who don't know, Estonia is in the northern Europe. So we are next to Finland, Sweden, Norway. And I come from a very small village, which has less than 3,000 inhabitants. So it's very, very small. You know, we have one shop there, and it's still small. You know, and I started to look into the financial markets when I was probably 15 years old, and it was the impact I got from watching first time the movie The Wall Street.
Okay.
You know, with
The first one. Okay.
the first one,
Alright,
like,
okay.
and I remember, like, so I was sitting in our apartment there in this village, and then from the TV you could see that Michael Douglas in the center of New York in this office, which was like, you know, bigger than the whole apartment building we were living in, and you know, this phone ringing, the other phone ringing, you know. That guy calling from Tokyo, from Singapore, all of these like ticker tables, and it just looked so good, and I always kind of wanted to, you know, do something bigger, and this kind of seemed to me like the opportunity to eventually get out of the village, and so I had really big impact from that. And from that on, it was like a logical way forward. So probably the same month, I asked my mother that, listen, there's like one business newspaper in Estonia. Could you do a subscription to this newspaper? And she was happy to do that. So in our village, there were like 2 subscribers to this.
You and your brother.
To this daily newspaper, business newspaper. One was the owner of the only shop in the village, and the other subscriber was our mother. And then what happened? So every day after the school, you know, school finished, everybody, all my fellow students were excited that, you know, to go and play some football or watch TV or anything like that. I was really excited to go home and take this daily business newspaper, and I just started reading a lot. And I read the news. I started like thinking, okay, why this specific company is having success, why the other doesn't. I familiarized myself with like business people in Estonia, outside as well, and there were like banks published balance sheets on the pages of this newspaper. So I was like cutting them out from the newspaper and starting to like glue them in my notebook and checked every month after the month, okay, what are the changes from the previous month, what's happening, and try to connect these changes in the balance sheet or with the news that were happening and with the changes in the stock market as well, because a lot of these banks companies were listed on the Estonian stock market. And then when I finished the high school, I went to the university. My mother got loan from the bank to pay for the first year of the university. It was a private business university in Estonia. It's still operating, and I was so bad son. I took half of this loan and opened the brokerage account with one of the banks there and bought stocks.
Okay.
And those of your viewers who don't know this era, like how it happened at that time was that you physically went to the bank office. You told to the teller that, listen, I want to buy this specific stock. The teller would then go to the central office of that bank, and she had to wait like half an hour to get a quotation for this stock. At the same time, I was sitting in this bank office waiting for this price, So, and then the bank teller would come to me and say that, listen, the price of this stock is like this. Do you want to take it?
Okay.
and I had like no reference point. Like, was it good price, bad price? Like, what is it? I said, yeah, it's good price. Let's take it.
Just take it.
It's like, and today, your listeners, viewers as well, you have so many tools. Like, you have real-time market data. You have like platforms where you can chart this way, that way, the charts, like hundreds of indicators, thousands of algorithms that you can buy and test on the market. And at that time, it was so much like different. You didn't have anybody to consult with, any like mentor or anybody. Today, your community, they have you, and at that time, it was like just struggle all the way up the hill,
E aí, tá gostando do conteúdo? Só para lembrar que aqui na descrição do vídeo você tem vários links importantes. O link para se cadastrar na Tickmill, inclusive todos os clientes que se cadastram e fazem um depósito através do nosso link, eles têm acesso a um grupo exclusivo onde eu compartilho todas as minhas operações. Esse grupo tem trazido resultados extraordinários. Você já deve ter visto eu falando aí sobre as operações que eu mando lá nesse grupo, porque são as operações que eu tô fazendo. Então, os resultados têm sido muito legais. E fora isso, você tem desconto de corretagem, você tem acesso aos nossos cursos exclusivos. Também aqui na descrição você encontra, entre outros links importantes, tá bom? Então continua aí no vídeo porque eu tenho certeza que você vai gostar. Everything, like just super offline, calling and The first time that what about you, Bruno? When you started, do you still have...
No, when I started, it was interesting because it was 2004. So at that time, we had like just screens in the desk, but I couldn't check the price because I didn't have a mouse. So it was like the boss in one side, and I just see what he wants me to see.
Okay.
So it was just those prices, and if you want to trade, okay, it was a client in one side and the trader in the ground floor in the other side, and I was in the middle. So it was like that. So it was very hard because it was a lot of pressure and a lot of sounds everywhere. So you had to do it was not 100% offline, but not 100% online.
Already. Okay. Yeah, like it's super.
And you?
Yeah, no. When I started, like the first time that I saw the financial market was kind of not like Illimar, but kind of. I just look at it and say, okay, like not the same story, but almost the same story. Like not that small village, but a small city in Brazil. And I was like, okay, medium to low class family. And I was like, okay, I need something that I can do to be rich. Like this is, I always say that my ultimate goal was like, get rich until 30, stop working and just surfing.
I had the same, exactly the same.
But
really?
And then I was like in the middle and I realized, okay, I think that I can do it. And like all the time, the dream just was over, like smashed in the financial market, like everybody, like in the first time. And it's nice to see that other people just start with the same kind of drive, like, okay, I want to change my life. And just Bruno, I know that you all also like travel around the world, like working and everything. And like, did you study, because Bruno, I know that you study
business administration.
And what about you, Illimar, as well? Did you study business?
So I studied finance and economics,
Okay.
and then how my journey continued was that on the second year of the university, one of my friends at the university, he was working at one US private equity fund.
Okay.
And then one day he came to the computer class in the evening and said that, listen, we really need like one analyst to like go through the balance sheets and all this stuff. Are you interested? And what was really cool, so because I had studied the balance sheets since when I was 15, you know.
That's so nice.
So I went working there, and it kind of got off really well, you know.
And so when you got there, you were an intern or like a estagiário, like in Brazil we call it, like an intern, or you already?
I was an intern. Yeah.
Okay, and you stayed there for a few years?
I stayed there for like 6-7 years.
Nice.
So I actually, the university, which at that time was supposed to last 4 years, I was finishing the university in 6 years because I got so involved in the work.
Yeah.
I changed my daily classes later to the evening classes, then to the weekend classes, and it was actually a struggle in that sense to like get all these academic points and my university, actually I always say, was rather not the university but was this private equity fund where I worked, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know about Bruno, but like for me, there was one time that I just realized, okay, I'm learning so much in the bank, because I started as an intern, but I could just jump for not intern before ending the university. And I just remember that I didn't have any bad, like I was really going well in the university, so I would end in more 1.5 years. And when I started to work, was not only the work that's too much, like too much work and everything, but was like, okay, I'm going there. I don't know if you had this feeling. I'm going there just to learn something that I already know. Like I will be there, but everything that somebody's telling me, probably I already know, because I'm studying so much in my actual work. And so this is, I'm telling you that because nowadays people think that the university is something that doesn't fit anymore in their life, but this is not true, because I always say, if was not the university, I could never get in the bank.
Yeah, I had the same.
Yeah.
Because I was studying there, they kind of wanted to hire me, but without the university, it's difficult.
And sometimes we just forget that, okay, now you are an employer, not an employee anymore. So you have a big business, you are a big investor as well, as I know that you have other companies, and we're gonna talk a little bit more about your project. But you guys, not only you, Illimar, but Bruno as well, just I know that this is part of your concerns probably about the future of the traders and the people that are watching us. Talk a little bit about how do you think that people should keep going, keep learning, keep studying, because sometimes people say, okay, I will learn here in YouTube, Murilo's channel, and okay, everything is done. But you, as somebody that's super successful, and Bruno as well, you guys are telling me, okay, you can, my path was like, study a lot with 15 years old, then university, then okay, I can start to work with this and try to make my life with this. So can you talk a little bit more about these stages that you think that people should go, and how if your children were watching, what do you would recommend for them to the path that they could go?
I think it's like people have to embrace this like constant learning. And I remember, for example, when I went to work at this private equity fund, so what happened after the first day? I didn't go home. I didn't spend time with my friends. I went straight to the bookshop and bought like 10 books about financial analysis, like markets, private equity investments, all of that. And started learning. And to this day, I'm actually learning every day. Like I'm studying new stuff. Yesterday, in Madrid, we were sitting down with one of our partners in London. They are from the hedge fund space, and I was so curious. Like for 1 hour, we talked like technicalities, like how a hedge fund works, like how the risk is being managed, and how the trades are executed, like do they hide the trades, etc. Like it's so interesting. And my advice is like always to continue learning and embrace learning. And what I oftentimes like find nowadays as well is that for example, if I look at brokerage firms where I'm mostly involved in, then oftentimes people who work like in the sales department, in the IT, in the in marketing, they don't have actually any idea about trading.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like really concerning, because if for example, I would start tomorrow working at like a TV station, for example, I would try to learn like how they are doing anything, like how what impacts what, and like try to educate myself of the business and industry where I'm working in.
Okay.
And trading is the same. Like you constantly have to study new stuff, like new strategies, technologies, hang out with other traders, and constantly learn.
Okay. Just before you answer, Bruno, I would ask you something about this. Like during this time that you were doing the analysis for the bank, did you start to trade with your own money already, or you had some like policies about, I don't know, inside
Conflicts
the
of
bank?
interest.
Yeah, like, or compliance that you could not trade as well.
So I made so the first investment, what I told earlier, this was in 1997 in August. I started working at the private equity firm in 1999 somewhere, or 98, I don't remember anymore. And because we were making investment into private companies, then I could trade also public companies.
Okay.
So there was no conflict of interest. So during the evenings, I was trading the markets.
Okay. And when you just start to work in the bank, you were not having to go to the bank to the girl that just call with somebody else and ask the quotes in the like when you were in the industry already working. You just could get a phone and say, "Hey, what's the quote of, I don't know, Pepsi?"
So what was really interesting was that so one of the investors in the fund management company where I worked, there was a guy from Soros fund management.
Okay.
So like real top-notch like hedge fund guys. So you were able to talk with these guys, like how they are trading and what instruments they are using and platforms, etc. And to me, like a big shift in terms of the access to the markets and analyzing the markets was sometime around like 99, 2000, when I first opened an account with a US broker.
Okay.
It was the broker name was Datek, which was later bought by TD Ameritrade.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had like real time market data, like charting, indicators. Imagine like a guy that 2 years before that like was watching teletext from the TV to check every 15 minutes like the update of the price, and then suddenly you get this Datek, this like real time super cool colorful trading platform, and you see charts like hundreds of stocks, like tickers, all. It's like it was crazy. Like
That's nice. Bruno, when you started, like how was the step by step before getting the Tickmill? Because we're gonna start to talk a little bit about Tickmill.
You know what? I was listening to you and I was remembering the first time I had any contact with the financial markets, and it was 1997. My father was trading with Bradesco. It was, I don't remember if it was Agora Investments or something, but I remember the logo of Bradesco. And he was getting the quotes by fax.
Okay.
So each 30 minutes. So each 30 minutes, they had an update and they can send a fax.
Okay.
And it was the time of the Asian crisis, the tigres asiáticos,
Yeah.
a crise dos tigres asiáticos. So the Ibovespa was going down and going down and going down, and we were getting faxes and faxes about those prices, and like my father losing a lot of money. This was my first contact. I remember I was, I don't know, 15 years old, maybe. But coming back, I really I heard you both talking about the dream and university, yes or no. If I could recommend anything to anyone, it's study and do a university, you know, because I really think that you studying economics or business administration, you will learn to learn. You know how to go to the books and get the basics of everything.
Yeah.
We can talk about valuations, but what is a valuation without accountant or the basic numbers that the university can teach you?
Yeah.
And in the other side, it's a nice moment to be in a university. You are 18, 19 years old. You have friends. I have friends from my university that they are my friends until today.
Yep.
And one is working with logistics, and I'm working with financial markets the last 20 years. So go to the university and study economics, business administration, financial. And if you can go not only online,
Yeah.
and you can go there and talk to I have teachers that I remember then doing calculations, calcs in the dashboard until today.
Yeah.
So this is something that is very, I
Unique.
would recommend.
Yeah. In my point of view, like people forget they want to see a picture and not a movie. If you see the picture, you will just say, okay, I could do better just trying to see a few videos here on YouTube and whatever, because you're gonna learn exactly what you need in that area. Okay, so imagine I am a super bad drawing. Okay, I cannot draw.
Mm-hmm.
But my son, as you know, I have a baby. It's not a baby anymore, but a child, a toddler, as he told, and he loves to see motorcycles. So what I do, I go on YouTube and say, how to draw a motorcycle, and I just do, and he thinks that I'm like the best ever.
You're cheating.
Yeah, like what this guy is doing? Like how does he can do that? But why I'm telling you that? Because there is no methodology there. I'm just copying. You know, if I need to repeat this in few months, I cannot remember, and I tell you that because I cannot remember how to draw a dog, and I learned like few months ago. And why this is important? Because if you are just copying and just learning how to solve this problem right now, you don't create everything that you need to solve problems that you don't have yet. And in university, as you have a methodology of studying, you study a lot of things that supposedly you will never use, but somehow that knowledge is inside of like your head to help you to solve bigger problems in the future. So if you ask me, do you need college to trade? Probably not to execute trades. But if you, and I see that in the students or the people that watch my YouTube videos, if you really need and want to learn the market and the structures and how this works, you need a university, because you need that kind of methodology to understand how to use your background to go one step further. And one other thing that I just realized one other time in my life that I realized that, as you know, I started the YouTube in 2011. So nobody has YouTube. And people ask me, okay, some people already told me, hey, but older people like us, okay, why you start that? Because I remember people in the bank just looking at me and say, this guy is totally crazy. He has he's just going he's going really skyrocket in his career. Like he can be earning a lot of money in a few years. Why this guy is just stopping this
What was your motivation?
I will tell you, the first time, and I always will remember my father. First time that I saw a YouTube video, I just looked to him, not exactly the same time, but I say, this will change the world. This will make a guy in Africa learn how to do mathematics. And this will change the world. This will not be funny videos. This will be the media of the future. I was not a TV guy. I was not nothing. I just look at that, and my sister works in cinema and television, and she didn't have we never talk a lot about her opinions about the future of YouTube, but she didn't had that feeling that I have, super, okay, I know, it was not a feeling, I don't know how to explain you, and probably you had that with the Tickmill, and I will ask you about that, but I only knew, I knew that was the future. Okay, this is the future. I don't have no doubts. I don't know how I will earn money with this, but I know that if I teach people using this platform and ask them to use the platform that I was creating, because I created a platform. We were talking about platforms. The YouTube channel just was created to promote the platform, the technical analysis platform that I had. That was kind of a trading view, but 2012. And everything just went wrong with the platform, but the YouTube kept there. And I just always look at the YouTube as a educational point of view. I was like, okay, this is something that people will learn, people will keep this knowledge and keep going if they want, but they need a methodology, because imagine you have a lot of videos to make everything, to put everything together. You need to understand how studying methodology works, and this in my opinion, you only learn in the university, when you need to study things that you don't want, when you need to be confronted with people that disagree with you, because people right now, they think that, okay, why I will go there? First of all, you need to have some people that disagree and has a lot of knowledge to put your knowledge in question as well. So, because it's easy to just, I say to Bruno and to you, okay, work in the financial market, it's the best. Let's bring a guy that
doesn't agree with that.
This is difficult. And people need to understand this kind of interactions, because this they will have in life. In working, I'm pretty sure that in Tickmill you have people that you disagree, but they are the best in what they do. So you just disagree with them in personal opinion, but working is the best team ever. So yeah, it's just it was a different question, but I would understand better what was your opinion coming from this background.
I remember the first class I have it was called Economics 1, and the first lesson was supply and demand.
Yeah.
The first. So if you come the 2001 to today and you say, okay, what is about the markets? It's about supply and demand. Also, it's about prices. It's about how things work. What's the supply and demand of euro dollar? Why people they were willing to buy more euros than dollar. Yeah. And if you go back, so it's totally related with the financial markets. And I never imagined you would use that.
Yeah, I think I agree with you that university, it gives you the structure and the methodology to be able to do your research in any market or any industry you want to do that.
And Illimar, exactly when did you decide to change and to start your own brokerage, or how was this your path during life to come to be where?
So as I mentioned earlier, and by the way, it's not only me. My brother Ingmar, he's also very passionate about markets. So we are two crazy guys.
Are you twins?
Yeah, right? So we're twin brothers, and we are these two crazy guys from this small village that somehow got connected with the markets. And so both with me and with him as well. So while we were having a normal daily job, wearing a suit and stuff, at the same time we were trading the markets, and eventually we got to the point that where we had actually enough resources already that we could quit the job.
Okay.
And then what happened was
Trading.
That,
Trading, just
we were just trading.
okay.
Like we bought one office in Estonia. We started trading there. Eventually, we started capturing also third-party investor capital. We traded their money as well, and we were mostly trading futures and futures options. So futures market for us is like our
US market.
US futures market. So we feel very comfortable trading futures and futures options. And because we were active on this market, we had relationships with pretty much all of the major futures brokers in the US. So like Lind Waldock, which is not there anymore, RJ O'Brien, MF Global before it went bust, Interactive Brokers for sure, you know, and ADM, RJ O'Brien, all of these brokers, and we were able to see, like as traders, like what did we like in some specific with some specific broker. Like let's say in RJ O'Brien we liked the customer support, and we liked it because they did it this way, you know. In Interactive Brokers, where you actually don't have customer support and you don't have a phone number to call, we like the technology. Like the DWS platform, I still even today consider one of the best trading platforms, because it's just like so customizable. You can build your products, synthetic products there any way you want, like cross assets, like cross calendars, anything you want to do that. And then my brother actually had worked at one FX broker. It's originating from Estonia. It's called Admiral Markets.
Okay.
And at certain point in time, when it was sometime in 2010, one of our friends from the high school came over to our office and said that, listen, guys, you know so much about the markets, you work with so many brokers, you know how the markets work, you know everything about the risk, and why you don't guys start this your own broker? Because at that time, we knew what other brokers are earning already, and we started figuring, okay, that we take all this risk here, we are doing so much trading. Then we had like investors who were calling us like every 15 minutes that like I saw like Dow was dropping 50 points now, are we safe? Like, and so you had a lot of stress there. And eventually we got to the point that we took a decision that we have enough capital, let's start our own broker.
Okay.
And this was sometime in 2010, early 2010.
And so between early 2000 to 2010, these 10 years, you were like working in futures, trading futures, basically as almost as a fund manager. Was your own capital and other third-party capitals as well?
Yes.
But did you have a fund, a structured fund, or was like something more?
No, we were using, so because I knew a lot of people from the fund times when I worked at the private equity fund.
Okay.
And I had built that like trust among this like investor community, and my brother had worked at before the broker, he worked at the Estonian Banking Federation, so there comes the banking connections.
Okay.
So we knew a lot of people, you know, and most of the people knew that we are trading the markets. So when people had question, okay, what if I would place some of the capital on the markets, then we got a lot of like interest from different like potential investors.
Yes. Almost as some kind of advisors and money managers, but also trading your own capital.
Yes. So we had like all the clients, they were mostly corporate clients who had like their brokerage account already with any of these brokers with whom we had worked already before. So a lot of them had with Interactive Brokers, and then they just gave access to us to these accounts, and okay, let's start trading, you know, and that's how it was, you know.
Okay, and back then, like during this same period of time, you were working in
I always work for the financial industry, and at that time I was working for an Israeli company that they were already working in Forex industry. Okay. So Forex industry was always in my background and in my life. and I was traveling the world and working for them at that time.
Okay.
It was a very interesting time.
I started in the financial market, like my first contact was in 2005, and then 2007 to 8 I was intern, and then already 2005 to 6 intern, 6 to 7 not working, 7 to 8 intern, then got effective.
But always surfing.
Yeah, I always. Well, it's a super strange story. I was like in the middle of the tsunami of the financial markets, 2008 and 9, and I was intern, and the bank that I was working was purchased by Itaú Unibanco, and I was like, okay, I was an intern, but I was that kind of guy. I was super young, and I was like, okay, I want to go to the trading floor. I want to trade floor, and I was in the back office. And the guys, no, like there is no space. No, I had, and they say, no, you don't have, you need to have the profile to be a broker. And I was like, oh, I had the profile. Just don't.
You don't know, but I have the profile.
And I was like, and this is a strange story because if you ask me, I don't know exactly how the doors were open, but I was so insisting so much that when the bank was purchased, I was in the Outback. Do you know Outback is a restaurant in São Paulo? And I was lunching with the guys having a happy hour or whatever. And I was an intern and they were. And I was like, hey, you need to help me. Now my dream is over. Like the bank was purchased. I will not be in the trading. Even if I had the profile, even if I was like super good in the broker with the clients and everything. And this guy was like, oh, okay, this guy is so annoying. And said to me, you really want? Yeah, I really want. Okay, I will call a guy. And I was like, okay, this guy is just joking. He will not call anybody. Like, and the guy really called a guy. And this guy just said to me, yeah, I think that I have maybe I have opportunity for him in the bank that I'm going to work, because the guy was leaving Unibanco as well in the same time. And long story short, in the middle of the crisis, I was like everybody going out of the banks, and I got in, and I was like supposedly I turned to effective. So like my mom, this is a funny story because my mom, I was in like Maresias in the end of the year, Brazil, you know, like end of year, and my mom looked at me and say, do you know what's happening in the financial market? I was like, okay, but don't worry. I'm pretty sure that I will be there like in the beginning of the year. And she was like super worried. In maybe 20th of December, the guys just called me. Okay, you can come like 9th of January. We're going to sign everything. You're going to start like, I don't know, 30th of January. And I started in the, like, imagine the tsunami. Remember, like was... Man, I just remember because when I was in this time as intern in 2008, I saw really, really bad things happening in the trading floor because I was in that period working, trying to be with the guys, to try to go there in the trading floor with them and to be a broker, not a trader. And I was like, man, this is really difficult to do when they were dealing with big loss, like a lot of people losing a lot of money that for me was unthinkable. And anyway, I just got in the in Santander, and from there I just went up. But when I was during that time from 2010 and go on, I didn't think that the Forex market was the real market that I could earn money, because I earned a lot of money doing swing trade in stocks. I lost everything trading futures in Brazil.
Which futures? Like stock futures?
Yeah, index and dollar. Brazilian versus dollar.
Real,
Brazilian real versus dollar. And when I saw the FX market, I was like, okay, I need to start somewhere else, because I will not trade futures anymore. And to swing, like for doing swing trade, I cannot, the time that I will need to rebuild like my wealth.
You need to pay the bills to do sync trade. Yeah,
I need to do something that I have more leverage, or I need, because the beginning of my career, like yours, I earned a lot of money trading, just trading, not as broker, trading my own money. This time because I had I had really good thoughts about the market, and I was right, and I was super leveraged. So I got like 20,000 and transforming like a lot of money for me in that time. And I was like, okay, I can live from that. But anyway, when I saw the first time the Forex market, and maybe it was that time that you were dealing with interactive brokers and you were, Bruno, like traveling around with these guys, I didn't think that this was the market of the future. Like, let's say like this, okay, this is something that will change the trading environment and everything. And I saw a revolution in the industry, honestly, like from 2014 maybe. Like, was a revolution from there to now. Like, it's insane how things just improved, the spreads, the trading environment and everything. And I always say that. And people, I bring you guys, and Illimar, Bruno, we already had this kind of conversation. So people that has more experience than I do also can talk a little bit about how was the environment back then, and how you decide to transform as well this environment with your company. And other companies, of course, they did things that improved the market as well. But how was your point of view as entrepreneur, as a trader, and as somebody that want to change the market and say, hey, let's try to do something better for the client? How you decide that, and how was this path? Where you find the biggest difficulties, and how was, creating Tickmill? How was it?
I mean, originally, like, when we started at that time, in 2010-11, so this industry was mostly unregulated. In Europe, for example, the regulations moved in like 2015-16. So there was like most brokers were offshore. Like you had no trust, you didn't know who are behind them. The average euro-dollar spread at that time was 3-4 pips. Like seriously, 3-4 pips. And
so it was impossible to do the trading, or
it was there were like a lot of slip-ups, delays, execution like was awful, etc. And
just one question about that time. The volatility was wilder, or was almost the same?
It was much wilder.
Okay.
Like the moves were much more extended than
you
what
had days of 200 pips in one day.
Okay, it's
Sometimes,
more like
yes.
the market used to move 1-2% plus.
Euro dollar
minus.
would easily move 1-2%
Yeah.
a
Okay.
day. Pound dollar could move like 3% a day. And I think the reason was that a lot of these markets were manipulated, like the market participants, like banks. Later on they started like clamping down on like these consorted like activities between the banks and where they actually move the market. So at that time, markets moved a lot. And when we looked at that market, we thought that, okay, hey, if we bring like transparency to this space, if we lower the cost of trading, we make the execution faster, we operate in a transparent like way with very good like execution, then we can change that market. And we were so different from the beginning, and the reason why we were different was that because we started from Estonia. And we always had this complex that you come from a small place and then you have to prove yourself to everybody. So the time when we opened the first website, our pictures were on the website, the names were on the website. My mobile phone number, which I still have today, it was available on the website. And to put this into context, 99% of the brokers, you didn't even have an idea of like who was behind that company. Any names, nothing, was visible. And how we started building the market was or the business was that we were super fast. So when most of the brokers at that time, and you had all this Wanda, FX Pro, FXCM, Gain, all of these guys were there, you know, when the account opening was like 1-2 days, then we were opening in 5 minutes.
Okay.
And like all the time when, for example, client was sending account application on Saturday or Sunday, they got an account credential in 5 minutes. So what happened then was that people went to forums and said that, you know, what the hell is happening with this broker? You know, I just sent an account application on Sunday evening, and in 5 minutes I got the account credentials, and I was able to deposit, and the money is on the account already. And we started to build a lot of this reputation that these guys are transparent. Yes, they are from Estonia, but at least, you know, they do it in a nice way. Spreads, when all the others were having like 3.0, 3.5 on euro dollar, we had like 0.3, 0.4. When other brokers were charging like 35 per million of commissions, we had 20 per million up until this day. And it was just, I think, transparency and consistently providing good service. And the reason why we wanted to do that is that because we had been trading on the markets more than 10 years by that time. And as a trader, you know actually how difficult it is to make money. I always say that trading is one of the most rewarding, but also one of the most challenging jobs anybody can have. And we always have this perspective up until today that when we provide a service to the traders, the least we can do is provide a good service. Because these guys are like fighting every day, you know, with market news, geopolitical events, market movements, unreliable brokers, deposits, withdrawals getting stuck, you know, so they get bombarded, traders, from all the fronts by, you know, difficulties. And that's how we kind of built the reputation.
That's something really interesting, because when I was trying to figure out which broker I would recommend to my channel, and Bruno knows this exactly how works in my channel every day, Illimar. A lot of brokers just came. It's not one per day. Like, now they stop to come because it's the standard answer. Yeah, just thank you for your contact, but if I want to do something with you guys, I will contact you, because in my point of view, the market was exactly what you are saying. Was like the Wild West of everything. Like
a lot of cowboys.
Yeah, like, was insane. And I just, all the time I realized, okay, my values, what I think of life and what I want to be part of in life is not something that's corrupt. It's like illegal, or like, you know, trying to sneaky the clients. And I was like, all the time, how can I put my face and say, hey, these guys are trustful if I don't know who they are? This was a really big problem during my time on YouTube. So I will just do a compliment, and it's not like, as we say in Portugal, Portuguese of Portugal, licking shoes. It's not like this. I'm telling you the truth. This is what you are doing. It's brave, and it's really good in the client point of view. I'm not talking about Murilo of YouTube, but now as a client, because I'm Tickmill client. Because the worst thing ever to think about is that you don't know who are these people that are with your money, and like any kind of flag that they try to not deposit your money. Why? No, maybe it's not, they are not transferring my money. It's not because I didn't send a document. It's because they are stealing me. They want to have a better quote on the euro or whatever, my currency, and they are trying to sneak me or to spread me. So sometimes, of course, we know some people and they disappoint us and everything, but I really don't feel that you are this guy. It's not the first time that we met on phone and now personally, and I really don't feel so. This is really good for the industry. This is a compliment, man. What you are doing,
Thank you, Murilo.
yeah, it's really good for the industry, and to hide the standard of, okay, I am the owner of the broker, this was our history, and maybe things can go wrong or right, but we are honest, and this is how we do business, because
But it's like there's also like a negative side effect, to this how we are doing business, in that sense that. So imagine we have like 100,000 active clients, and they have trusted their money with us, and they know who we are. Like, so the from the first day the pictures, the names were on the homepage, and they are still on the homepage. So imagine the responsibility we as founders, owners, managers of the business have. Like, every day I go to sleep, I just think that Jesus, like, gold was going up today 60 points, dollar was dropping this, there are like hundreds of millions of like positions open. Clients are expecting us to deliver every millisecond.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like 5 with cryptos already 7 days a week. Every millisecond they expect us to deliver. If we don't deliver, then they know who they should point their let's say complaints, and it's like a lot of responsibility that we have. Of course, we are now used to this because we didn't jump from this level to this level over a day. It was like a gradual growth, but sometimes when I like play with the kids in the evening at home, and I just think that how much like responsibility we have, you can go crazy. And the other thing what we've noticed over the years is that because in the industry, I would say in the FX brokers industry, there are like 10-15 brokers that I consider like serious, solid brokers, and the risk or the challenge that we have is that anybody who works for Tickmill more than 3 years, it's like somebody all the rest want to employ, because we kind of nurture them and we grow our people, we support them with all the possibilities, tools, resources we have, and then we grow them to a level where they become extremely attractive for all the other guys out there. So like keeping the staff and keeping them motivated, that's like one of the biggest challenges that we have.
Yeah, but yeah, you can.
No, I would like to add something as an employee. And it's very interesting because I can do a challenge now with the people who are watching to this, because you go to our website, and when we click about us, there is all the management is there, the names and the photos and the pictures. If you go to other brokers, maybe I know sense of them, it's very hard to find the name and the photo in the website. So this is the first thing. If I am a trader, this is something that I would consider. But now let me talk as an employee. The next week I will be doing like 4 years in Tickmill. So I joined in May 2020, and
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. It was a nice journey. Because, I come from the financial industry. This is very aggressive. The way we use it to work, it's not the same way we do, actually. And I remember when I was being interviewed by Illimar to start in the company, I asked him, what do you expect from me, to the region, to Portugal, from Brazil? What are the numbers? And he answered me, I just want to talk to you 5 years later, and the clients will start talking good things about us. That was the answer. They didn't ask me the target or money or how many clients or no. I just want you to work in 5 years. I want Brazilians to talk very well about Tickmill. Maybe we're doing something that way, but it was very interesting because when you see the competitors and how they deal with the employees, it's all about money and all about targets.
Yeah.
And I receive in my LinkedIn every week or maybe every 15 days proposals for any broker that you trade every trade. I got a proposal from them, and it's very hard to leave. And it's not only about money.
Yep.
It's hard to leave because we are here now. It's very hard. How did it work? I called Illimar and said, look, do you want to go to Lisbon or you're going to do this? No, I go to Lisbon. Just send me the date and I will.
Organize.
How hard is to do that? He's not only a CEO, he's the founder of the company.
Yeah.
It's not easy. So it was just to add this point here, that when the client sees something that I am replying him an email, trying to help him or saying it's impossible to do something, we have a big team behind it.
Yeah.
People from funding, people from back office, people from compliance, people from legal, everybody who is supporting this guy who is in Brazil to trade, I don't know, Hang Seng in the night. And
not only in Brazil, in Mozambique, Angola,
and Portugal.
And Portugal.
A lot of the traders, they don't understand like the kitchen side of the broker. Like it's like there are layers and layers of like infrastructure, operations, like responsibilities, tasks. It's unbelievable. Like.
The last time we spoke, me and Bruno, we had a really big conversation about this kind of structures, of like few things about the company, the back office and everything, how the broker works and how it's important to people understand. And again, like Bruno as well is doing like a great job of educating, like educating. It's true, because like if you ask people, they just don't, like in Portuguese, they just don't talk about it. Like the first time that I was in the Tickmill office, I was like, okay, imagine like Illimar, you are an investor, you are somebody that is successful. Now imagine that somebody tell you, okay, Illimar, I will give you a lot of money to talk good things about me. Okay, Murilo, just okay, Illimar, here it's like a couple of millions because you should talk good things about me and bring me clients. Okay, how you could do that if you don't know me really well? It's difficult because it's your image. It's how other people will look at you and say, hey, you told me to go with that guy, and that guy is a fraud, that guy is a scam, that guy. So, and when you at least do this first step of educating people and say, hey, this is how the broker works, this is how the compliance works, this is how you create an account, this is why you cannot deposit in the same day and then withdraw for another method, through another method. This kind of information is really important, because if you don't tell like people, they think that you are just creating these rules by your own, you know, because they don't know you. They just say, okay, this is a company, I don't know these guys, they are just creating this to block me, to you know. And about this kind of trading environment, I know that you yourself, you are a trader as well. In your opinion, and this is something that it's really important to know the point of view as a trader and as a broker founder, do you think that the market creates any kind of manipulation to hunt stops or to do these kind of things with the retail client? What do you think about this statement that like the market or the broker, or I don't know,
because
somebody
these clients come and I was stopped out because these are that.
Yeah, like that. Me do
love
some
this.
context, because
I love this question. I love it. And I will answer it like in a completely opposite way that anybody of the viewers will think.
Just you understand, nowadays there are few theories and few people that got really famous in English mostly, talking about liquidity and hunting liquidity in the market, the financial market, completely hunting the stops and hunting algorithms that go and hunt all the stops to the broker market making and everybody and whatever. So just tell whatever you want and just be yourself. Just tell us, what do you think about that?
Okay, so let's start from like the high level. So larger banks like hedge funds, they are always looking spots where they can create pain for somebody.
Okay.
So for example, if they know that if you like historically look at let's say commodities markets or gold as well, when some fund has been like short or long anything, you know, and the banks on the other side or hedge funds know that they have limited resources. Let's take like Hunt Brothers, you know, they try to corner the silver market, you know. The banks try to, and the market makers, funds try to cause maximum pain. But they only do that when they see that there is enough reward. So I don't think that like this, let's say the HSBC or JP Morgan trading desk is looking at like, you know, some trader in Sao Paulo that he has like a two lot position in a short in euro dollar, that okay, let's try to like squeeze this out. They look at the market as an aggregate, and they look at spots where by moving the market this or that way, they can cause the maximum pain and make returns. This is what they for sure they do. Of course, there are limitations like with new regulations from recent years ago that the banks are prohibited to do the prop trading, but there are large hedge funds who do that. But for the retail ordinary client, this is not, the banks are not the problem. The problem of ordinary trader is the trader himself. And I will explain it why. So if you look like the all history of like hundreds of millions of trades of Tickmill over the last 13, 14 years, 70-80% of the trades are always against the trend. So wow. It's not like that the market is moving because the retail is let's say short. It's the retail is positioning itself in the short side because the market has started to move. So for example, if gold starts moving right now with the $10 moves over the next few hours, with any $10 move, the retail traders are increasing exponentially their short position.
So like each 0.5% of the gold that I increase 0.5% of the gold, the retail market, the retail clients there, they are just shorting more. They are
exponentially shorting the market. With every additional like gain on the gold market or any other market, like it's like I think it comes not from the God but somebody else, but it's like this curiosity of the market that I still admire, like how it works. Any move higher exponentially the retail is positioning against this move, like so they are shorting, you know. And then eventually it reaches the point where the aggregate, let's say, size of the retail crowd has the maximum pain. And if we look at like the market, then majority of the stop losses and stop outs happen at the same like position or in the market, because they have overextended themselves. They have, let's say, too much leverage as well, and this is how it goes. And if you look, for example, the gold move a few days ago, actually, when it was going up $70 in one day, 90% of the retail traders were shorting the market. They have this like fundamental belief as if they know more than the market does. They are always fighting the market. Like they should embrace the market, but they are always fighting the market, always going against the trend, never having stop losses, never, like ever. 70-80% of the retail flow that comes to the market, they don't have stop losses because they think fundamentally that they are smarter than the market, always.
It's interesting, huh?
Deep. And like for you, as a trader, because you were really successful trading your own money, that's how you got in this point that you are in your life, successful and a big investor. And we know that you have other companies, if you want to talk a little bit about other companies as well. As a trader, because I know that you're still trading, how you trade, not getting the strategy but how, because you talk me a little bit about trend. So how do you trend? How do you trade following the trend? Because probably is how you do it.
I mean, so when I trade futures, I look a lot on the seasonality of the markets. So you come from Brazil, so the largest player in the orange juice market is Brazilians. So Brazilians have the crop sometime in the end of November. So when they have the fresh oranges, they press orange juice out of them and they push this product to the market. So when you look at like the orange juice market, then sometime at the end of November, almost every year, it's like works not as a clock, but there's a 70% chance that the market starts going down. End of November, early December. So and the trend is set sometime at that time. So if you go short that market, don't take it as an investment advice. It's not. But with 65-70% probability, the orange juice market starts dropping at the end of November. The other thing is if you look at the crude oil market, in 2008, when crude oil peaked at 147, it peaked at the end of July. Why July? Why it peaked at?
Summer.
When you look seasonally as well, like over like 50-year time span, crude tends to spike always at the end of July, and the reason is that so the gasoline refineries, so they are buying crude to prepare for the U.S. holiday season.
Summer, yeah.
So they're always buying.
Yeah.
And when you know like the seasonalities, like these trends, then you can benefit from this. And you only need like more than 50% probability to succeed if you like, have
that's interesting to hear.
Have your stop losses and you limit your losses.
Do you know that there is I don't know if you ever seen the dashboard talking about the seasonality of the financial market, the S&P 500, that you have the seasonality of years and of decades and everything. And these guys, they made a study and a forward test in 1927, before the big crisis. Did you have ever seen this study? I cannot remember the name, but I will find out, and I will put like in the link in the description and everything. And anyway, they just found out that like in the fifth year of the decade, 13 times more we have uptrends in the year than downtrends. I don't remember exactly the statistics, but it's more than 90% of the time. You have uptrend year, you have a bull market year in the like 2025, 2015, 2005, and they could predict exactly. It's not that theory about 10-year cycle. There is a really clean 10-year cycle theory. It's not that theory. It's a theory that derives from this one, that explains not only the super cycles of 10 years, but the small cycles and the fundamentals and everything. And so they could reach out it's a really assertive super cycle and small cycle and cyclical forecast of the years, how can predict the market, not in a fundamental point of view, but only where we are in terms of economy and like the big cycles and everything. Super nice. It's a really nice theory. It's a PhD that did. It's not a YouTube guy like me. Okay, I will do a theory here. No. It's a.
You're a PhD as well. You don't know yet. but you are.
And just
I think
yeah.
there are like these Kondratiev cycles. It's one guy that drew these cycles. Like maybe it's different, but Kondratiev was one of these guys who produced these cycles, and they have been quite accurate
Yeah.
up until recent decade, because when the central banks started printing money, and they are going to print that God knows how long, it's like it kind of screwed up a lot of like this kind of
But
stuff,
guys,
yeah.
let me now to ask a question to you both. We are talking a lot about markets here, and we are talking about a lot about fundamentals. And this is something that sometimes I think the traders are missing. I think the traders, and I talk to a lot of clients every day, they are just talking about technical analysis and Fibonacci's and moving averages and etc. So my question to you is, we're talking here more than 1 hour about fundamentals. How about technical analysis? Do you use that to trade? Does it work for you, and how does it work? First, I don't know, Murilo, you can answer that.
Do you know, it's a good question, because you were talking about fundamentals, seasonality, and even going against the trend.
Mm-hmm.
And I use fundamentals, and I start to trade, doing swing trade after I come back to swing trading after my boy was born. And I decided that because I didn't want the stress of day trading anymore for my life. I didn't want that during my day, because I want to be with him, and so I want to be more peaceful when I'm with him, my mind. And what I really do is, and in terms of technical analysis, that I just look the market and I say, hey, this cannot be explained by the fundamentals. So there is something that I'm missing out, like in dollar yen, for example. Right now, all the premises of my strategy, everything of my strategy, and we do volume analysis, a lot of volume analysis in swing trading, and everything is saying just we have two paths. Or this thing will just go down, really down, or these things, like dollar, will really go up against the yen. And in my point of view, I just do all the technical analysis and say, hey, this is really expensive in terms of, okay, how much the carry trade can go on and everything. But I just look at that and say, there is something here that I'm missing, because there is too much money being put here in these levels, and it's so naive to think that everybody is just selling there, because the guys are just doing something that we are not understanding. So what I do, in my point of view, technical analysis with fundamentals and with volume will work 90% of the time. 10% of the time, remember the university that we talk about, the theme, why you need to study. There are 10% that you need to put your mind to work and say, hey, my strategy is telling me to sell this, but there is something wrong. This cannot be right. There is something wrong here. It's the same of like the euro dollar below the parity.
The 1-to-1.
I remember to say that for a friend of mine that has he import and export boards all around the world, because he has surf schools and everything. It's super business that depend a lot of the currency. And he asking me, what do you think? I just say to him, if you can buy euros, change everything that you can change, just buy, man. Just buy, because they are doing something that is super naive to think that the central banks and everybody will not start to see that and say, yeah, here I think that we got too much. it's better to change a little bit of our reserves from dollars to euros and exchange. So sometimes, even when you are in a trend, you need to think about the real world, you know. The gold right now is another example. I didn't sold like the premises of my strategy were telling to sell 2000, 2012, 2200 and now 2300. And I say, I will not sell. I will not sell. Look the word like, no way. The Chinese and the emerging markets, Russian, I don't know who is buying, but they are buying a lot. And I can see that through the volume. So there are some times, you know, Bruno, that technical analysis really work if you just can be in a... you can be really objective and see things like they are and not as you want they would to be.
Great.
You know, the perception and perspective. It's not your perception. You need to put things in perspective, you know.
How about you, Illimar?
I think that there has to be like this combination. So you have like you are checking this volumes and fundamental and of course I look at the charts. To be honest, I think I'm this crazy guy that before I go to sleep I check the charts.
Double check.
Even if I don't have a position, I check the charts.
Let me just check.
It's just like crazy, and I've tried to get rid of this, even leaving the phone, in the other room before I go to sleep. But it's still I want to check it. So, you have to check the charts. I think if you don't, I don't buy these guys that are saying that listen, I'm not like looking at the charts, etc. Because charts are giving you so much information. Like it may not always be like 100% accurate, but it gives you like some view of what's happening and what could happen, especially like if you look like longer time frames. Intraday, if you look tick chart, there's like no point looking at it. It also depends on like what position duration you have, you know.
But guys, do you in your graphics do you have a lot of studies, or because I see sometimes clients that it looks like a Christmas tree, you know, the graphs. No, it's not something bad. I'm telling each one has their own way to use that. But sometimes you can see the price. You even can see the price.
Can I tell you a really good story? I was in Indonesia, and I will not disclose the name of the person that was with me, but we were in a boat. Only financial. It was lucky because we have a friend in common that like. We were all financial market guys, and the guys
in Indonesia
in a boat surfing. But the guys, there were more 4 guys from financial market. 3, 4. We were in 4, and 2 of them were in a totally different league of mine. I am honest, and I told the guys, you are a different league. Like you do something different from me. Like they were hedge funders and like. And the guys were money managers, like billions in money, like in under management, so different league. But why this story is really funny, because we were like during really deep in the night, I was there, could not sleep, the boat and whatever. And I was like, okay, I will get a Pocari, that is a drink, like it's not alcohol, I don't drink alcohol, but it's like a Gatorade. And I was like, okay, and I see this guy in the laptop.
In Indonesian boat.
And it was Bloomberg, and I was like, okay, I will try to sneak what this guy does, like look in the chart. And I say, hey, what's happening? I'm just checking. And I say, nice. And how do you analyze it? And he said to me, I'm super more passive. I do all the maths and everything, but there is something that I really use all my life. And they say, what? He told me, relative straight index. And I was like, man, if I do a video, for like, because everybody, if you just talk to a retail traders, he says, no, the fund managers, they don't use indicators, lag indicators, you don't know what you are talking about. And this guy in the middle of Indonesia, and I was kind of shocked. So I ask, but how do you use it? He say, yeah, when it's oversold or overbought, it's too
Place a
low.
trade.
Yeah, it's probably it's like expensive or too cheap. So if I like a position and I'm saying that's like okay oversold, I will start to look and I say, I cannot believe that, man. Like the basics of basics. Like the guy in YouTube there like is telling the truth about the fund managers. But so is that. But talk about your charts, how they are.
I mean, it's like it's funny that you say that because I have also RSI.
That's why. Maybe it's just that.
It's like
they learn in the same the same school.
And but I keep it very simple. So I have 25, 55, and 200 EMA and RSI. Nothing else.
Mhm.
Nothing. Nothing more.
I actually that's funny because my strategy use RSI, and I can tell you a little bit. Like I will not disclose everything, but what I try to look when I see that mostly in the FX market, if the market's overbought or oversold in the daily chart, usually you can start to look and say, hey, because people say, there is no fundamentals. Do you know an indicator called KID index? Do you know KID index it came before the RSI, I think probably a lot of people in Japan they use, and there is a guy that transformed I think that $2,000 in 200 million. Do you know the what's the name of the guy?
The Japanese guy.
Yeah, it's a Japanese guy. It's true. The story is true. No, it's not scan or media thing. No, it's true. The guy really made 200 million.
I think even the broker, like with his permission, they publish some like statement or something.
Yeah.
It's a legit guy.
Yeah, it's a legit guy. And this guy use KID index. And the KID index, what it shows the distance between the market and the moving average. You decide which one. So what RSI does is almost the same thing. You are just looking the distance between the prices and moving average, and how is this behavior. So actually, what I really think that works. An example in the index. After the Fed and all the central banks start to print money, after 2002, when Alan Greenspan just started his theory of, okay, never we're going to have a crisis anymore. And we knew that this will come. What we are living will come.
Yeah.
After that, the indexes, they only have one direction. And if you put with the indexes and if you put together the ETFs, and the endowments and all these theories about like passive investing, how in earth somebody will short the market? Probably the last time that we could have really big movements with fundamentals was 2008, because today you have so much liquidity and you don't have anywhere like any place else to put your money, that probably if the S&P goes 25% down, it's gonna be up like in 2 months back again, because there are so much money. Even if Japan just changed the curve, even with all that, it's so much money. If we don't have a really big change, and of course there is something else in my opinion, that's the inflation. When you get kinds of like Illimar and these league guys that are here, these guys are just looking after 6-7%.
Yeah.
That at least correct the inflation. And for them, what are the first assets that will correct? Historically, stocks. Because the guy that's selling this water, he will need to correct his price with the inflation. So in his balance sheet, come back to the university. In his balance sheet, the inflation will be correct. So the prices will just go up in the intrinsically. Like naturally they will go up. That's why the market always theoretically go up as well, in my opinion.
You know, the weird thing about the markets is that stock market specifically, that I oftentimes feel that we are living in some sort of matrix, because and no, like, jokes aside, I've been talking with my friends for like 4 or 5 years already. Like, when they have asked, okay, what is your view about the stock markets? I've been saying that, listen, it's like too much already. It should probably correct, you know. And like you rightly say, like, it's because they're printing so much money.
Mm-hmm.
It's like constantly just goes up, you know. And so with stocks, I've been actually, you know, quite wrong. S&P 500 futures, for example, I have never been able to trade successfully. So I don't trade like at all like these markets.
If you watch my first video of 2024, you know that the first thing that I tell, last year I was totally wrong. Exactly what you say, because my strategy told me to short all the indexes, and I was right in the beginning and totally wrong in the end, because I was right with the first big movement, and then I said, okay, I will start to purchase. I start to purchase in really good levels the US 100, the Nasdaq. And then there was one point that I even have a short that people can watch. I said Nvidia is totally wrong, the price, because like, in my opinion, that was okay. There is the AI and whatever, but there were so many companies that for me were totally out of the fundamentals, and I was totally wrong, because the market just went up, just skyrocketed, and went to the all-time highs. So,
and you know how interesting what you were telling me now, because every time I'm in the front desk with the clients, so clients are talking to me every day, not only retail traders but big traders and IBs, and many times they have. It's not easy to them to say that they were wrong, you know. It's very hard. It's very hard, and that's what Illimar said. That the biggest enemy against the trader, it's the own trader, the own people, the same people. Yeah. So this is something very interesting, because we have two big traders. I'm not a big trader, and you were telling, wow, I was wrong. Yeah. I was wrong. And this is the first thing I can recommend any people who enter to the market to ask before place a trade, and if I am wrong. So if I am wrong, I have to use a stop loss. If I am wrong, I have to do some risk management, because I can be wrong. Yeah. I can be wrong. So this is the first lesson that a trader must have. You know?
I think if I've sometimes said to people that they should try to think in a way that let's say if they think this way, that if I could trade only one trade this month. What
a view!
What would it be like? So let's say you have an idea that you want to short gold, you know, and if you think in a way that if I can only make one trade this month, would I really want to short this market right now? And
this is very interesting, Mudir, because we receive a lot of ideas, and we have a lot of things in the head and the mind every day about what to trade and how to trade. But imagine if you just can place one trade per month, which would be the trade?
And Illimar, I have like a few questions for you, and you can be like, just take your time, or if you just can answer quickly, just up to you, because our questions about trading and about like your personal view of trading, and how, because I know that you were in a lot of you used to be a full-time trader before being in this broker mission, let's say like this, to bring the best broker ever. So for you, personal questions first. Have you ever broke account? Have you ever lost all your money?
Of course.
Yeah?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And another question, how did you recover? Like, what was the most difficult part of recover, apart from the money, of course? Like, okay.
I think like for me like the most difficult part is the emotions. Like and like speaking very like openly, like I think I would have originally done much better if I had like a risk manager next to me.
Yeah.
I would have done much better, because like I used to have like a lot of good ideas, but because of like very poor risk management, I was not able to succeed. So for example, when we traded together with my brother, then he's like more conservative guy. So I was like this guy that like, let's jump in, let's do it. And then he would say that, but hey, let's wait a bit, or let's cut some position sizes here. So the most successful traders are the ones that have these two personalities in one person. Like they have like very strong discipline as well, like and this risk management part in them.
I will complement and go to the next question. I'm pretty sure that I am honestly one of the best traders that I ever met from far, if I'm right. I know how to handle right positions as few people that I saw, like honestly, like totally honest. I know how to understand, okay, this and that step will go further, and I can sometimes really see where a lot of times with a lot of a good percentage of being right. And this is a kind of how I say maldição in English.
Una maldición, something very bad that
like,
you don't know.
This is at the same time something really good and really bad. Because if I'm wrong, it's really difficult to accept when I'm wrong.
You feel terrible.
Yeah. And not only feel terrible, but it's difficult to accept. Because I can just draw different scenarios. Okay, so maybe this and that and that. And this was, I remember, and I will go to the next questions because it has a lot of, with this commentary that I have. This started, and I remember in one trade that I was doing, and I was super right. I was maybe 100,000 reais up front in one day. And I lost 30,000 of the profit. I lost 30% of the profit. I didn't lose all the position. I earned 70,000. But in my mind, I had that money already. And that, I don't know why exactly that situation, but that changed a lot in my mind. I just improved a lot how I can handle the take profits, but I just got so much worse in take the stop loss. So sometimes I just earn a lot of money in the market, and then I just lose a lot of money. That's why I just decided to not day trade anymore, because this kind of ups and downs with a family, as a family guy, is much more difficult than as a person that, okay, I'm earning my money with my wife. I created my own redundancy, so I invest a lot outside the market. All the money that I got, I took out. I took out. And sometimes I just think, okay, but if I had put there and the compound interest, I would be just millionaire. Then I just think to myself, okay, it's better not to. Yeah. Because what you are doing your own, you know how is to broke. So you start to do your own protections, like an airplane. You do your own redundancies. And talking about that, do you have two trades? One that was really, really, really good, and one that was really bad, like mine, that you just know that changed everything for you, like, and you had to change a lot of things because of these two trades, or one trade that you remember that was, okay, this was really, really good, and I remember that was super nice moment of my life, or whatever, or the last trade, or that you remember?
I mean, probably like one of the best was I actually did a small podcast about this last year as well. So especially orange juice, like I was like showing the account and explained like how I trade the seasonality and all of this. So this was one of the best, probably the one that impacted me the most emotionally was in 2000.
How much did you got in this orange juice?
more than 1M.
More than $1 million.
Yeah, I understood. Like
No, I'm just telling to the people.
$1 million in one trade. Nice.
But I expected this trade to take place. I expected 2-3 years to actually do this trade.
Okay, you are just the guy, you know, that guy that was waiting 5 years to take a photo in the exactly place, like with the mountain and the moon and the full moon.
Okay.
Yeah, you were like this guy, just sitting
I
and
think he's a
waiting.
Brazilian guy.
Yeah.
I think he has passion about moons because all his pictures are moons. You know?
Yeah. But
And I follow him. He was actually in Paris like a few weeks
Yeah.
ago. So I was looking for some moon there as well, but there wasn't. You know.
okay, so 1 million, and you wait for, this is so nice, $1 million in one trade, and you wait for 3 years.
So
Okay.
so this was like from the good side. From the negative side that affected me the most, like emotionally, was in 15th of October 2008.
Okay.
Why I remember this date? Because at that time I turned 30 years old,
Okay.
and we had a birthday party at that time together with my brother Ingmar. So we are twins, so we have the same birthday. And at that day, S&P 500 dropped not less than 10%.
Wow.
Imagine the whole US stock market dropped 10%. And on that specific evening, we had a birthday party for like 50 of our friends. We booked a restaurant. Everybody was partying, like having fun. Oh, happy birthday, Illimar! Let's go to dance. You know, like all good. You know, and making photos and everything. During that birthday party, I lost 100,000.
Just during the night.
During that birthday party, when the birthday party.
During the birthday party.
Yeah, 100,000
Wow.
US dollars. And the account I had at that time was 1.1 million. So I lost 10%
Okay.
in one single evening. And you can imagine, like, everybody's partying around you. You go home, you just check the accounts, and it's like emotionally, it was hard.
Yeah. Do you know, I always try to warn people about not only the difficulties, but to be aware about trading. Do you know, because people see a lot of things online, and they just imagine that it's something totally different that it really is. I broke one time, that I always say that to people, that when I say, okay, you broke your account, I didn't broke our account. I completely broke. I completely broke. I use like I'm not in like, okay, making something more worse than it was. Like, it was nasty. Like, it was really bad, really bad. Like, I think that I would be broke forever. Like, for months, I didn't even know how to restart. And I always say that to people. There are two persons that I will always, three, of course, my family, but that it's emblematic for me. One person is my mother, because she told me, okay, I have 7,000 reais. That's today $1,000, maybe 1,500. And that was all she had in that moment, because we don't come from a rich family. And another person was a friend of mine that told me, I was trying to work in a project of trying to connect a surfboard shaper and surfers. And he told me, I purchased a board. And that 1,000 reais that I earned with one friend that, like, I connected then, was like what make the difference. So that's why I'm telling you, like, from the deep of my heart, all the time that I see a guy that it's I don't know, a Uber or a Uber Eats here in Portugal, because I live here now, I just say all the time to my wife, just give tips, huge tips, because for maybe 12 months I am this guy, because was a really turnover that market could make the turnover in the market, but it could not, and I tell people, just take your time, think well, because it can be like Illimar and made 1 million like in one trade, or you can be as 80% and lose everything. Like, you know, just take care. Just don't think that is a dream, because it can be a nightmare, you know?
I think what I like about majority of the traders that have been long in the market is that markets make you humble. And we had actually exactly the same story when we got here. So we went to this Praia de Guincho, and the taxi driver who like twice almost crashed the car, he didn't know how to get there, but Bruno was reading the map, and then the charge was 36 euros, and I gave him 50, and he gave 10 back, so less than he should have given. And then I kind of thought, okay, it's like maybe he has like a bad day, or like because he was really struggling there. And then Bruno said that, but let's go back, he gave you less than he should have given, and maybe he had a bad day, like maybe it's like something happened, etc. This 3 euros doesn't make me richer, and it's like markets like teach you a lot of to be humble. And actually this is one of the, I would say, cornerstones of the success that we have had with Tickmill as well, is that when we talk to traders, we are honest about the markets. We never tell to the traders that, listen, you open account with Tickmill, you have like in 5 days you're gonna make we just tell up to the face up front that, listen, it's difficult job. It's not that like 50% of the people succeed, like any trading. Is it FX, CFD, stocks, futures, options? Like more than 70-80% are not going to make ever. But the sense of like honesty and transparency, it like builds a lot of trust. And also what I've noticed over the years is that traders tend to work with us because they know that we are traders ourselves. So they kind of feel that they are with somebody that, has felt the same pains that they have felt, has struggled the same struggles that they have struggled, has felt the happiness the same that they have felt the happiness, when they've done some trade really well, So they kind of relate to us. They know that we are like the same guys. And in comparison to a lot of like brokers or financial firms out there, the owners, founders, they have maybe never touched the market.
Yeah, it's true.
And when you sit on a dinner table with them, what are you going to talk about? It's like
they are good marketing guys, but they are not a good traders.
If you just change them to a broker firm in Brazil, or to a bank, or to a rent-a-car business, whatever, the guys just don't know how to do business. Like they are businessmen, but they are not traders. Yeah, it's true. And
to be honest, sorry to interrupt. What I like oftentimes like I get a bit frustrated is that for example, when I hire people and I see from the CV that this person has worked like 10 years in the brokerage industry, and I ask that whichever field he's working, and I ask, okay, have you tried to trade yourself? And he or she says that, no, I've never tried. And to me, it's like, let's say if you work in a milk processing factory, how could it be that you have never tried a product that is coming out from the factory?
Yeah.
I mean, don't drink it every day, but at least try, like different flavor comes out, try it. We have different platforms. Just open like demo account. It takes 5 minutes to open it. Just check, try to press once a button, and leave the position open, like see how it feels when you get like losses or profits, or just and it helps you to relate to the job what you are doing, and actually become better in what you are doing.
And still talking about the broker, what do you think now that you have so much experience like in the broker and the FX industry and in the financial market, you too, like Bruno as well. So what you guys think that is the future in, I don't know, 5 years or 10 years of the broker firms and the FX market with all these changes, and what do you think that is going to happen?
I think in general there's going to be a lot of like consolidation because there will be less brokers out there and less financial firms, and we see it in the banking as well, you know. And the reason being is that it's super expensive, super complicated to run a brokerage firm. So for example, to reach profitability as a broker today, it will take years and like tens and tens of millions of investment. So this means that there are not a lot of entrants coming to this market. There will be a lot less brokers in this space. A lot of the like smaller, medium-sized brokers, they will stop offering the services because simply they cannot cope with the regulatory burden that they have. I mean, we have like a lot of people just in compliance, like risk, all of these aspects. FCA regulatory handbook is like hundreds and hundreds of pages, like, and you need to hire people for that. So I think consolidation. I think the firms that will stay in this space, they will become much bigger, but they will also become stronger. And I think for the end client, it's actually better because there is more stronger, larger companies in this space, and it will add a lot of trust to this industry as well.
You think?
Well, I think the same. If you see the last years, I don't know if you remember, but we had a lot of like cowboys coming to the industry. We see in Brazilian, I can talk to you because of the Brazilians. They are very, very early adopters. Everything that's new, they want to try. So I talk to clients, and I was talking 2 years ago, mainly after the COVID. There was a scent of brokers. No, someone's calling me from everywhere. And now they simply disappeared. They are not there anymore. Or they changed the prices, or they changed the rules, or they changed everything. And what I can see that there are maybe 5, 6 big players that they are working for the future. The others, they are just doing some pocket money, you know, and maybe they reach some level of money. Some brokers reach some, and it's okay for them. So it will be, I see a lot of consolidation, and I see like the brokers will be like one-stop shop. You have to offer a lot of instruments to your clients. Because, for example, we have clients in Brazil that trade a lot coffee, that they trade a lot wheat. But other clients, they trade a lot of euro dollar or Hang Seng, I don't know. So you must offer, you must have a very good instruments portfolio to offer with the same value, that it's the pricing, the good support, and everything. And this is very hard.
Okay.
You see brokers that they have a very good offer in 1 or 2 instruments or 3 instruments, and that's it. I think that we are working to have the same kind of offer in many, many instruments. So that's what I believe will happen in the future.
Apart from that, Illimar, what do you think about I know Bruno's opinion, but I want to know Illimar's opinion as well, about the prop firm industry and what's happening. I know that you are related. We know each other from this kind of environment as well. So if you want to talk about your project in this area and why you are just investing in this area, and what do you think that how this can be related with the brokers, or what, like
I mean, like in the prop space, I see like a lot of similarities with FX brokers 15 years ago.
Okay.
Like there are like I think all Bruno's neighbors by now have their own prop firm.
Yeah.
Because I was like in one of the expos in Dubai like few weeks ago, and there was like a trading expo, and there was one company which offered so you go there and you invest $5,000 and they give you a prop firm.
I was reached by one of these guys.
It's like, and it's like, but what about risk management? What about compliance, legal things?
No, nothing.
No, but you know, it's like it's easy. Like we give you everything. And so you have like literally thousands and thousands of like prop firms coming online across the world, and exactly like was with FX broker like 15 years ago. So like why I entered this space was that it has like an historic aspect to it as well. So when with my brother we were trading third party capital, the eventual dream for us was that we eventually launch a hedge fund. And because the performance was already there, we started contacting like these hedge fund administrators and companies that help to set up the hedge funds, like in British Virgin Islands, in Caymans, in Luxembourg, etc. And in 2008 or 9, when we were dealing with that, nobody took us seriously. We were sending like track records, interactive broker statements. Like, I mean, it's solid. It's very solid. We were sending out there. Nobody was interested to talk to us.
And did you have like scale? You could scale up your strategy. You could scale up, or also something that,
because we were trading futures and options and futures options. So it's like highly scalable business. And so we never got to that point that to launch a hedge fund. And with the prop firm that I'm involved today, so that's the objective, that we want to give to these very good traders an opportunity to scale up.
Okay.
And to show to us that this strategy works. We invest into this strategy, and eventually our idea is that we gather together, like, let's say 100 stock traders or 100 futures traders, and by having these 100 guys that are trading different strategies, we could actually build like portfolio under a fund structure, which actually becomes interesting for investors, because you don't have just one guy that trades the fund. You have 100 guys that are trading strategies that are not correlated to each other. And it's like a filtering mechanism for us to eventually be able to launch investment funds and to actually capture.
Basically, you are doing like instead of trying to contract the best guys, you are just providing them a platform that they can test themselves and just show you that they are good. And like it's just like in football or in basketball that you have 3,000 boys coming there and trying to. Show their performance, and then this guy is really good. Okay, let's try to, and in 100 of them you can just find out 10, and in 10 you just.
It's like in football, for example. So imagine you tell to like 5,000 guys who all think that they are like good football players. You tell them that, listen, come to the Bernabeu stadium in Madrid. We have all the top guys there. Show us what you got, and then we like select. The top guys, So it's like the prop firm that we are building. It's like choosing the best traders and filtering the best traders at scale and globally.
Okay, the idea is that. Do you know, like I know that Bruno has some concerns about the prop.
And I will explain why.
The concerns about the prop firms. I think that it's a really, really, really good environment if the industry can go on and do what the FX industry did. There is few problems, like not in the prop firms itself, the industry, but it's in the business model. It's not the business model, it's the tests that sometimes you took out the best traders because of some rules. And I can say that with background, knowing somebody that's a really, really good trader, really good in risk management. It's not myself, that works with me every day. The guy is a machine, really good trader. And the guy cannot pass. And he tells me, I will never try again one of these tests, because if I got account, I will lose it. Because sometimes, let's imagine, just an example, if the guys that they don't do average pricing, like in martingale or greeding or nothing. They just, this market is too high, I have my fundamentals, I think I can have some edge here if I start to buy or to sell, but I need to give the market some
time.
And some range. And these guys sometimes they just do few positions. If you get a strategy like this, swing trade strategy like this in a prop firm business model, you cannot trade. And I say that by myself, my strategy, what I do, I pass in the tests with one strategy, and trading I do another one. That's mine. Because when I'm trading my strategy, I just low a lot the risks, really low, like 0.1% per trade. So I can do this because this is how I trade. I do okay, here is a good point. Here is my stop loss, like theoretically, and I have a 3.3% range here for the market. If go up, I will stop it and whatever. But I will do some positioning here, and I will wait the market comes with me, like the Euro franc, like these last days. I did exactly this. And if I do this, risking what I risk, usually I will just blow like in the daily drawdown or in the daily drawdown or in the trailing drawdown. I cannot maintain the accounting, like maybe not now, but in few months. So I think that there are really good strategies that they can never succeed in the prop firm environment. And this is something that I'm pretty sure that companies as the Trading Pit, that's your company, and other companies, we start to understand. They say, hey, maybe there are a few guys here that can trade kind of different, and let's see how they behavior if we give this kind of different test for them like to pass. And I think that there's gonna be start some variations.
You have your track record. You know, sometimes you don't have to
some variations will be created. I don't know. Something will be created.
Like for example, what we do differently is that of course, like the challenges are there, and the challenges are constantly evolving, like based on like what we see on the market. But what we do like differently from others is that let's say if there's a guy that has 5-year track record from Interactive Brokers, I'm not gonna tell him that listen, take this challenge and prove, because his strategy is like completely different. So what we do in parallel and we have like real success stories there as well, is that we invest directly into some strategy. And we tell them that send us over the account statement, we have a look, and then we set up a vehicle.
Usually how long do you check this time frame?
We want to see at least 2-3 years.
Okay. Yeah, it's good.
That's you see what's the difference. There are prop trading firms that they are just selling challenges. They're not prop trading firms, and we see a lot of them. That's my concern about the industry yet, and that's why. And we talk a lot about that. And look, guys, I'm not telling you because I'm in a podcast. We're in a taxi, and I was talking to Illimar the same things I'm talking here. It's not something that I'm just talking here because I'm in the cameras. I think there are a lot of serious prop trading firms. You can see in United States, this industry was been increasing for the last
30 years.
30 years. Yeah. So this is not something new. The way that it's been offered, actually, it's something new. It's nice because you give opportunity to traders to access huge funds, and this is nice. But we see a lot of firms that they are scams, or they are just selling challenges, and after they sell the challenge, they trade the rules. They change the rules. They change the rules.
I mean, this is the place where why I actually entered this space, is that there is like big potential bring transparency to this space, like. And that's actually one of our competitive advantages, that we do things differently, like, and it's like over and over again, like exactly the same thing, like 99.9% of prop firms, you never know who are behind these firms. They cannot show you who they are because their intentions of running a prop firm are not like legit. So there's something that they do there that is not actually doesn't look real, And they cannot compete with us because we are transparent. And it's like a competitive advantage. And but of course it's very like difficult industry right now to compete in general. Like.
Do you know, like when I was in London with you guys, there were some companies that reached me to start a prop firm. Do you know? Because actually I am like you in 2010. I'm just like, okay, where I can go from here and who I want to be with, because it's like the truth you only say one time, you know. It's like it's my face that is there advertising somebody. And I'm telling you that because when you just told me, okay, we have a prop firm and it's gonna be like this and this and that, I said, okay, even if I could earn much more money doing this by myself and contracting the people to work for me and whatever, and I have people in Brazil that could handle that, I just say it's better, and I told you that to Bruno, it's better to be with somebody that know what they are doing and I know that they are following some compliance and some rules than to do by myself. Because as Bruno warned everybody, I think that there are a lot of companies that their only goal and their only business is to be a marketing machine. And these companies, they somehow need to be out of the market because they are not prop firms, you know. And when I see that you guys are trying to do the right thing, I feel more comfortable to advertise, because you know there is something that you always say, like, even if it's in the end the things doesn't go right, at least I know that I was doing business with the right people, you know. Business can go like and be profitable, or can just be broken and just end. We don't know like the future, but at least you know that the things were done, you know, the right way. And I think that
properly.
Were done properly. And I think that, in my opinion, the industry, what will happen is that companies like Tickmill and other companies as big as Tickmill will start to take the environment and take the place. And this is what I hope as well, because at least we know that the clients will be more safe. Because in the point of view of the client, paying 1,000 euros to, if you are good, access to 100,000, it's really good. Like, you know, I know because I have my own withdrawals from other prop firms and everything. And the first time that I was like, okay, man, this is a real deal. Like, I just look my return on investment. Like, it's huge. Like, and
I mean, if it's like done properly and it actually is like it works. It's a super business model. Like it's with very limited risk. You know, you have access to a lot of like exposure and can earn performance fees. The struggle that most of the traders on the street have is that so if you go to Google and type today, prop firms in Brazil, you get like 100 responses. You go to any of these websites and they all look nice, like colorful, nice pictures. We have this, we have that, we have this platform, etc. And the struggle that clients have is like which one to choose, because they all look the same, And I think that's where I completely agree with you. I also agree that I think that regulators eventually will move into this space.
Yeah, for sure.
And this would actually be very welcome, because that would mean that 99% of the prop firms out there, these $5,000 guys, they would be out there.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's evolving. It's like Forex industry 15 years ago.
Okay. Illimar, so we can finish it, do you have any message for the Portuguese, Brazilian, Angola, Mozambique, or anybody that is watching us in English or as well in Portuguese? So you can, I don't know, send a message, not only about trading or whatever, or the broker, but something that you want to talk to the audience and for the guys that are watching us.
I think like my advice would be that whatever they do, they should try to find their angle. Like they should find their strength in whatever they are doing. Like in trading, for example, their angle where they think they have an edge, and then follow this and stick to this edge. So, for example, if somebody works for like Coca-Cola in Brazil and he knows the beverage industry very well, like and what impacts the beverage industry, then this specific person, through his contacts in the industry, he has an edge in trading the stocks in the beverage industry, like let's say Unilever, Coca-Cola, Procter & Gamble, all of this. So stick to the basics and stick to the things that they understand, and not go overly like into like different asset classes. Because I've seen so many traders that, you know, today in the morning they trade gold, tomorrow they trade S&P 500, the next day they trade dollar yen, and then they trade Tesla, and they kind of are jumping from one, you know, like grasshoppers, from one field to another. So it's better to kind of learn where you are not good, and understand where you have at least some edge, and then try to learn and educate yourself, stick to the people that can you know, mentor yourself and become good in that field.
Okay.
And then the other thing I would say is that trading is not for everybody. So that's why I like, for example, the prop industry as well, that with very little investment, in a few months, in a risk-controlled environment, you can understand whether you are good at it, whether you have at least some potential there or not. And so if trading is not for you, I would like really rather look into like investing, because it's a big difference, trading intraday and investing long term.
Okay.
And the third one is probably the most important thing, is not fight the market. Those guys who enter the market and they think they're better than the markets, smarter than the markets, always fail. I've never seen a guy that is trying to pick the tops or the bottoms is going to succeed. You know? Never.
Okay. Just go with it, go with the flow, go with the trend.
Understand what the big guys, like you mentioned, volume trading. You know, if Chinese central bank is buying gold left and right for like 6 months already, so why are you shorting? You know, it's like
Back to basics.
They have like endless pockets. So so you make a deposit 5,000 with a broker, and you think that you can kind of corner the Chinese central bank.
I just, like, my advice is, I say this in Portuguese with Bruno in one video that we were doing. You know, you can say this phrase because you probably know in English the John Maynard Keynes phrase: the market can be liquid, like the markets can be insane much more time that
you can be liquid,
solvent.
Solvent, yes.
Yeah. It's a classic phrase, like I know in Portuguese, I don't remember in English, but it's a classic phrase, like, and it's the truth. Like the market can be wrong for a long time. You don't have the same pockets of the market. Like, you're gonna have to stop. So just don't go against it. Like, just go with it. Yeah, it's true. Illimar, really thanks for being here for this super honest talk. Was super nice. Bruno as well. Bruno is a good friend.
Thanks for having
and
us.
Was really nice. I think that people that watch us, they will really like this content. I think that you clarify a lot of things, and honestly, I think that this is what we need in the industry. Like, people that are honest, are doing real business, and are providing the best tools so people can try to succeed. Because if they can or cannot is with their own, like, but we need to provide the best education in my what I'm doing, like my best education, you with the best platform, Bruno with the best support, and if we do our best, the best will succeed, and the people that cannot succeed will not, but at least we will provide the best tools, right?
That's it.
So really thanks, man.
Thank you for having us. And
Thank you, and congratulations, guys.
Bruno is one of the best guys to serve the Brazilian clients. He knows them, he speaks the language a bit, you know.
Not so much.
And thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for your time.